into the darkness. We are one.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we at the SCS proudly present to you the next best YouTube show of the world, the Badass Mike, the Road Dog Alex, Finch Master Flex, the Encyclopedia Jake.
And if you ain't down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Suck it! YouTube, Second City Sleepers, as we just stated. Alex, Ryan, Mike, and our new guy here filling in, giving us more opinions, Jake. Bringing to you a Triple H episode.
Cricket.
Alright, yeah, our Triple H episode.
Is he giving a promo or something?
No.
Cricket.
You know, as we always do, our thoughts, our opinions on the man at hand, Triple H, the man in the authority. Well, you know, we have a bunch of questions that we've all gathered, some of it from friends and other people through social media and whatnot, so that's always why we ask you to hit us up. And we're going to just go through this and I lost my train of thought. And yeah, then flip the reel there. And
John Cena sucks.
Yes, he does. And, you know, and we're going to bring you from his career, briefly, wrestling-wise, into what's going on now, currently in WWE, and what we think and feel and hope the future will hold. Just a little bit of everything, and we'll get into this. Alex, you want to start this off, man?
Well, as we know, I'm sure you know by now I'm not the biggest Triple H fan. I am a big fan of the wrestler, per se. I always liked Triple H as a wrestler. Nowadays, you know, I don't really like the guy. I mean, I want to get into his latest podcast, but I want to get to that later in the show after we get through all of his career and all the questions we got here to talk about.
So, career. Started WCW, name?
Terra Rising.
There you go. I knew
And the way that I heard he got the name is because
he was Terra Bull.
The promoter at the time, I forgot who it was that gave him the name, wanted him just to have a one-word name, and he was like, I want to have like a real name. So the guy wrote down Terra Rising, and then he took a pencil and just wrote right down the middle, and was like, now you're Terra Rising. And he was like, okay, I'm Terra Rising now.
I mean, his WCW stuff, you know, really didn't show anything of what he really can do, and they didn't know what to do with him, so, you know, he obviously quickly went to WWE, became Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and had that little pet, yeah, there you go, thanks.
French aristocrat.
Yeah.
You did that a little too well.
He likes it.
Childhood.
And, you know, and came up, and, you know, we eventually made his way through the... Did he have the European belt? Did he ever hold that? I think he did.
He had it in that mock match where he fought Shawn Michaels. Remember, he just knocked him down and ran over him 3 times. And HBK is like, oh, I lost the coveted European title. I can't believe it. Oh, it's coveted.
So, I mean,
Shane had it.
You know, personally, I've always liked Triple H the wrestler, Triple H the entertainer, Triple H the superstar. I cannot tell you that he's one of the best wrestlers out there. He is one of the best superstars and one of the best entertainers, absolutely. I liked him before DX. I loved him in DX. I loved DX. I liked him after DX broke up, and then they came back together, and then they broke up again. I liked his last title stuff that he did before he kind of went away. Now he just does WrestleManias and whatnot, which is good. I still like seeing him wrestle. I don't want to touch on his current stuff because we'll get into that in a little bit, but personally, as his career through wrestling, he's in my top for favorites, for sure. Who wants to go next?
I was a huge fan of Triple H when that's the whole point. I think I'm kind of in the middle of it. I'm really not a fan of Triple H on the mic. Was never a fan of him on the mic, really, unless he was with DX. That was the only thing that really...
Good point.
He killed it on the mic with DX, and I think that's because they allow DX to do whatever they want out there, but that's it. Nowadays, I feel like I'm tired of seeing Triple H. I think I just kind of need to let him go handle NXT, because he's doing great there. You know what I mean? Let him do that. But I think I'm just tired of seeing Triple H. I loved his work. He's always was the guy that helped push somebody over. You know, always was the dude, you know, to get the guy over, help him get over. You know, going back to the Benoit, him and Shawn Michaels helped get Benoit to that point, you know, where he was the world champion, you know. It's just, I feel like I'm getting tired of Triple H, but you're right. I like him as a superstar, not a wrestler. And I hate him on the mic. So, there you go.
Yeah, man. My first memory is Triple H. 96 Royal Rumble. I remember they had, it was called the Free For All back then. And he had a match with the legendary Duke the Dumpster Droese, where the winner was number 30 and the loser was number 1. And I didn't know who this guy was, but I just hated the way he looked. Hunter Hearst Helmsley with the bow in his hair, the slick back hair. And I remember he was number 1, and he stayed in the match for a long time. I mean, I'm talking maybe a half hour. And I didn't know who the guy was, but looking back on it now, you know, almost 20 years later, you realize at that time they had big plans for him from the very beginning. Whether it was by association, which I'm sure we'll get into of his backstage politics, or because he was in the ring. And just an overall general feeling of Triple H in the ring, very smooth. I'm not talking Benoit good or Angle good or Eddie Guerrero good, but the way that he does his moves, they're crisp.
Yeah.
He takes great bumps. His
Wrestling.
hair flipping. His mind is unreal for this business. Now, I give him props on that, and we'll get into a couple reasons, including the one I just pointed out a minute ago before we went on camera, of why I think he's overhyped and gets way more due than I think he deserves.
Agreed.
Alex?
Well, didn't we all just state
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to...
No, I'm good.
Okay. So, some of the questions to get into. We'll just start from the top. Would Triple H be in the position he is in today? And then we have some ifs. So if, the biggest one probably, if he didn't marry or marry, and then marry, obviously, Stephanie McMahon. So...
You should start with the good or the bad.
Do both, whatever you feel. Do what you feel. It's your opinion. It's your thought.
So I'm going to have bad thoughts for most of this stuff, probably.
Then that's what you give us.
For a while, I always thought that he wouldn't be anywhere near he was at if it wasn't for Steph, but I kind of started thinking about it more, and I think he would eventually have gotten there, but not as rapidly as he did. It's a touchy subject with people who always criticize him right now, but yeah, I do believe that he would eventually got up to where he's at right now, especially, you know, COO thing, maybe not. I think he wouldn't be up that high if it wasn't for Stephanie, but he would have gotten up there without having her at his side.
I think I should state. Did I cut you off? Or are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I think I should state that me as my fandom and as my personal opinions, I am almost all for Triple H doing what he's doing. I love NXT. Like we all stated, like I liked him as a wrestler and as a superstar. I think his authority stuff is well overplayed, but I think well overplayed. I can't. We can put like stars around well and underline exclamation point.
We should work there, yeah.
But I think that him and Steph, especially Stephanie, are doing it really good on the mic. Like Steph's fantastic on the mic, and
Yes.
I think that even though it's well overplayed, like and it should go away, and he should be something else. I think he's got a great wrestling mind, which he mentioned, and the cerebral assassin that to make fun. Yeah, whatever. Make fun of his thing, his what they brand him as, but. I'm all for him and trying to lead us into the future of wrestling, and I hope that what I'm hearing, which we'll get into, and what I'm trying to see in NXT to bring up, I hope that it goes better than what it is. And there's podcast stuff, which I know that everybody wants to talk about soon, and we'll get to it, that I hope that a lot of the stuff that's bad right now is not necessarily his doing. I personally think that Vince McMahon doesn't have the finger on the pulse where he needs to have it on. I think it's on a dead horse and not on a live audience. And I think McMahon is too stubborn and won't let go of the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, to give it to Triple H and let him fully run with it. I think Triple H brings all these ideas and has all this great idea, or maybe not great, but he has all these ideas that are better than what's out there. And Vince McMahon still is like, no, I'm not doing it. We're going to do it with this. We're running with this. And I think that's part of the problem. and he's just doing what he can do until he's able to have full access to it. And I guess only time will tell on that. So in this show, I think I'm going to take the more part of the interviewer than voice my opinions, because I'm going to be more pro and I want to be biased. And I think the best way for me to be biased and to get everybody's thoughts is to read off the questions and just kind of agree or disagree and let everybody say what they want to say. So, anybody else want to touch on the Stephanie McMahon marriage thing?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot, man. You know, he wanted to be a wrestler since he was younger, man. He didn't get trained by Disco Inferno, man. He went to Killer Kowalski's School of Wrestling, okay? So he wanted to do this from a young age. What is he world championship material? I say 100%.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
would have done it with or without her, period.
Yep.
13 times?
No.
Iffy. You know, 6, 7, possibly. Triple H was never the guy. I think him being with Steph helped make him the guy.
B+ player.
Yeah, he's a B+ player. You know, and if he wouldn't have stole Stephanie away from Test, maybe we'd be talking about Test right now as a 13-time champion.
Wow. I mean, I didn't even think about that.
Storyline-wise, you know, great. That was the way the whole television side of things with Stephanie is amazing. Since the day they got together with the whole wedding thing, and,
Oh, yeah, that was great.
stealing her away, going to the chapel, and then
That was awesome.
I remember as a smart fan, that was one of the first times in a long time that I was shocked when Stephanie turned on Vince.
Oh, yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
November, December, maybe '99 at a pay-per-view one-on-one, and she turned on him, gave him the sledgehammer. Their on-screen dynamic is phenomenal. And again, we'll get on some more things I have to say about Triple H running by himself or running with other people. But
Yeah, it's on there.
with Stephanie, man, definitely world championship material. Not sure if it's 13-time championship material. My
Well,
opinion.
that's what bugs me, because, you know, it's like, he didn't really, Jericho held the IC belt how many times? 9 times, right?
He's got the most, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple H held it 4 times. He was only tag team champion like once or twice. You know what I mean? So 13 times, and all the other belts had low numbers. Seems kind of little, like, you know what I mean? Like, if Jericho's doing 9 IC belts and he's a way better performer than Triple H, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, yeah, he got a giant push once he made with Stephanie, because 13 times, yeah, that's a little outrageous. I mean, Cena 15 right now is stupid.
You had to say it, dude.
I'm
didn't
sorry.
you?
But,
You know,
but yeah, I'm just saying.
Now, when anybody says Cena, I'm allowed to punch him in the face.
from now on.
Yes.
Hey, who's that wrestler that almost has the Flair record?
Cena.
That's a good
But
one.
no, I feel like he could have held other belts instead of the world belt more, because, like I said, twice tag team champion. That's
Like,
that's a
world
lot.
championship 5 times, world tag team 2,
See,
once with Stone Cold, once with Shawn Michaels, WWE tag team title once with Shawn Michaels, WWE champion 8 times, 2-time coveted European champion,
what?
coveted European
You
championship,
covered it? Wow.
Intercontinental 5 times, King of the Ring 97, Rumble 92, 2nd Grand Slam, 7th Triple Crown, and he also had the Best Hair Slammy Award for 97. Don't forget that.
That's the most important one on that list.
I would
That's
think
one he's probably most proud of.
That's above the belt and his thing. There.
You didn't want no crack about the nose on that one? I figured you were going to throw that one in there.
It's over.
I
I've
feel like the
overplayed
nose is
that.
outplayed, though.
Yeah, I've outplayed
Yeah.
the nose. It's time to put that one.
But no,
to
don't
rest.
you feel like that he should have been held another belt instead of that belt? If anything, I mean, like you said, he wasn't the guy unless, you know.
Different era,
he
man.
did- you know what I
I
mean?
love
Yeah.
that guys used to have the Intercontinental or the European title before
Yeah.
they threw him in the fire.
Exactly. Look at Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Held that IC, and then they got him out there.
And maybe
Kurt
it's
Kurt Hennig.
Little
Kurt
off
Hennig.
subject, but if
But they
Roman
never
would get a
got
run with
it.
that U.S. or Intercontinental belt first, maybe we wouldn't be talking about
Exactly.
that at another subject. you know.
Exactly.
But different time, you know. And
I just feel like that's how you know that he got a little more extra stuff.
Yeah, anything else?
I already said it.
Okay. Then the other if got in with the Click. The Click being, you know, the Kevin Nash and the Scott Hall and the Sean Waltman and the HB Shawn Michaels, HBK, and got in with all of them. You know, what are your guys' thoughts on with the Click?
I think him. I'm not going to really say like Waltman and Nash, but I think him being able to connect with Michaels, because Michaels kind of had that brass ring at the time, and I think Triple H fed off of that, and it ended up progressing him more than he would end up getting with Stephanie, and that would just escalate more as we just talked about. But he definitely wouldn't have been in my opinion, as big if it wasn't for the help of Michaels. But there's a lot of guys, like the older guys now helping out the younger guys.
Yeah, you definitely need that in wrestling. You know, I'm not going to hold that against him. I mean, it was a good power move or a good play. You know what I mean? Like if I was him, I would do the same thing.
Yep,
I mean, not only is Shawn Michaels like awesome and one of the best wrestlers of all time, right?
My favorite ever.
Then you have to. It's a smart play, and I don't down for that, and I would do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like if he didn't get with them, they were going to chew him alive. They're going to eat him up alive. Like, how many guys did you read about how the Clique just ate people alive backstage? I bet you if he didn't get with them, he was going to get eaten alive by them. You know what I mean? It was like, be with the prey, or be with the predator, or be with the prey, and you're like, everybody, like you said, smart decision, go with the Clique right away. Yeah. There was guys saying that they were trying to get with the Clique and it wouldn't happen, you know what I mean? So it's, if he didn't get with the Clique, I don't think he would have been too successful.
Yeah, Clique was, Shawn Michaels, just for anybody who's not familiar with the backstage from 1990s. Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, X-Pac, Six, Shawn Maltman, whatever you want to call him, and Triple H. Also, don't forget, Justin Credible was an honorary member at different points throughout his career. The great Aldo Montoya, if you will.
Dude, I like Justin Credible.
I look at it like the way that I saw a Nash interview is Nash said, who you're riding with, why don't you come ride with us? Because they used to watch him in WCW as Terror Rising, and they liked him.
Yeah.
So they said, come ride with us, man. And when they got in the car, Scott Hall looked at him and said, oh, by the way, no one likes us. So he knew what he was getting into from the second he got in with them,
There's a story also that like he didn't party so much, so that's why they had him drive too, right? So he drove him
sober
around.
Wheelman,
Yeah, right. That's
they all
great.
got
though.
drunk in the back.
Everybody in the early '90s probably would have loved the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Shawn Michaels is I've been watching for 19 years, and I look at it, I have a smart fan favorite wrestler and as a kid favorite wrestler. And as a kid, it was Shawn Michaels, smart fan CM Punk, but Shawn Michaels ever. So when he got with him on TV, he instantly was on my side because of the association, man.
And then that brings us to our next question with the HBK and the DX stuff. DX was amazing. It turned the corner for wrestling in the Attitude Era, the battle WCW's NWO. And I think that neither one of those two would have been the Giannetti. In that, even no matter how that played out, if you know what I mean, like you weren't going to do that twice with HBK. But I mean, being like everybody agrees, like being with HBK helped his career. DX boosted him up. The stuff that they did,
which
the edginess, which is all good, and it made it better. It made him more of a householdish name for wrestling fans. DX. One of the best factions ever. WWE's Countdown has it higher than NWO, and I don't agree with that. But that's another debate for a different time. And that's just the HBK and DX thing for me. I'll for it again. I loved DX and I loved HBK as a wrestler and fan, and you know what I mean.
And DX was one of the main reasons why I got back into wrestling, because I kind of fell out of it once. Like the early WCW days when I first started watching it, and then I stopped watching it for several years. But if you look at like statistics, like the whole DX tag team with Triple H, he didn't really win many titles while in DX. He went on afterwards from DX and got raised up higher to the top of that platform, that podium.
Great point.
And it's hard to say if he would have had less success without DX, but I'm sure that definitely helped him along. Because that was like that's one of the most popular things in wrestling, most iconic groups of all time.
That was best for business.
Yeah.
It sold T-shirts. You like that? Come on, that was pretty good.
It was good.
It sold T-shirts. DX sold T-shirts. It was money making.
You got the
business.
Original incarnation, man.
Getting into that later.
Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Rick Rude in China.
Oh, Rick Rude, I forget
about him. And then when Rick Rude showed up on Nitro, they replaced him with Harvey Whippleman for this amount of time. When Shawn Michaels got hurt, he took the lead, man. And he was the right guy for the job at the right time, man. He fed off HBK. Shawn Michaels was clearly the leader of that group. You're not going to turn down a position with Shawn Michaels on television. This is well before Stephanie.
Yeah.
And he had the Intercontinental and the European belt by then, so he was doing something right at the time. And student of the game, man. He knew his mindset's so great. He knew what he was getting into. The 2006 was so watered down, I think, and it was so PG. But the original 97, 98 DX.
Yeah, I mean, they had to put little blurs over things.
The original DX, man, with them, and then going into, and then he elevated Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, who were going nowhere except just being rockabilly and the roadie, you know, and he elevated them. That's what happened. Remember that?
I forgot about that,
Bart
man.
Gunn, right?
Yeah.
Remember Rhodey coming out with a towel and a water bottle? You know? Wiping them off.
Baby tonight, you know.
Yeah,
So,
there you go.
and then X-Pac came back after that the stint in WCW with the NWO, and then that was, you know, that's a legendary foursome right there. So he got elevated by a legend, and then he helped elevate three guys.
Yeah.
One that was doing it okay, but two guys that were just going nowhere besides tag team and complete jobbers, rip-offs, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he did his job, I think, in the 90s with DX.
No, I totally agree with that. He did pretty good. Right when they came out on Raw and he talked about bringing it, when he got brought X-Pac back, yeah, he did the right thing. Cool. It was awesome. You guys pretty much hit it on the head.
And so the connection and the chemistry with that group just itself helped elevate both men and all men in that.
Nobody wanted DX to die. I mean, everybody wanted to keep going.
So it still comes back once or twice a year.
Yeah, and that's what's great. And look how big of a pop it is when it comes back. It's so great.
Then you have the 10-year-olds are like, Dad, who's this?
You can bring those two back at any time, and it's going to work.
Yep. Just like they did with the NWO with Hall and Nash coming out there, and
God, that was so awesome.
It was.
Hall played it off so great too.
Mainly just because of Hall coming back. I never liked Kevin Nash.
I mean, I like both, but that's NWO's a different thing.
Different story.
So we can go into. We'll do that one later. Okay, the Triple H. The statement would be. Or a question would be Triple H's greatest success only when he was with factions, meaning factions DX, factions The Authority now, or with Revolution.
Revolution.
Evolution. Sorry, we did the Benoit episode earlier.
Shane Douglas?
No, that's my fault. And I mean, you know, what else was he in? What other groups? Was that it? Was it DX?
Corporation.
Corporation.
Two-man power trip.
Two-man power.
Well, that was just a tag team. But okay,
Helmsley era.
So then that's the question then. For me, his greatest success. I mean, it's hard to completely be too pro or anti on that for me because a lot of his wrestling career he was with groups, so it's kind of hard to say if he.
But like you saying those off like that made me feel like I just watched his whole career though. I feel like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, you just saying that, like DX, or the Click, DX, McMahon Helmsley era, Corporation, Evolution, and now the Authority. That's pretty much his whole career.
I mean, he didn't really get into being singles until after DX broke up that final time, and he was around 3 or 4
and
years.
that's when him and Mick Foley had those great
and
matches.
He didn't have a thing against Orton.
Yeah, Orton.
But like you just named off his whole career. I felt like, and it's like that's.
He's always had someone with him. Like it's just seemed like when he came in as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, remember he had a different lady escorting to the ring every time. And then eventually it was Sable, who went with Mark Merrow. And then Mr. Perfect was his manager. And then he gets into DX. And then he leaves DX and goes to the Corporation. You know, then he gets hurt and comes back. Then he's with Austin. You know, then he's with Evolution for how long? Then he goes back to DX. And then he goes to the Authority. When have you had your run, man? Yeah, Evolution comes back. When have you had your legit, like, solid 8-month, 1 year, great run with the title without anybody's help? And then if he didn't have anybody with him, he always had that sledgehammer. You know?
Totally.
It's just like Jarrett with the guitar. It's became, you know what I mean? And that's not a shot against Jarrett because I like Jeff Jarrett a lot. And can't wait for GFW to really full-blown go and get going.
So on that.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, I don't want to hit on that. Anything on the...
that was pretty much all stated.
But no, I really do feel like that. Like when you named them all up, I feel like I just watched the whole career.
Just always had someone with him. It's weird, you know.
But I don't think it's a bad thing because it works for wrestling.
It works.
For us as fans, it worked. You know what I mean? Like,
But you saying that, you know, asking that question, it kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it's just a question. I am not trying to personally takes shots at Triple H, but I mean, does it hurt his character in the overall thing? He doesn't probably give a crap.
No, he don't care.
But I mean,
He's making money.
but as
net
a
worth's
wrestler,
25 mil.
as a wrestler, like for fans like to really dig deep into the wrestler, like maybe he's not the best of all time ish in that category. You know, I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
Really agree. Really agree.
Now that he's in authority, we all know that he behind the scenes has a lot to do with NXT. Matter of fact, I've been hearing and reading that it's basically him with Pat Patterson helping him out. So the NXT thoughts. One, I personally love NXT. I think NXT is the best thing on TV wrestling wise, and that we can watch now. New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is just a side note. Is now on. Oh man, I forgot the channel. It's now on a channel that you can watch on Friday nights.
Isn't it like Bam or Zam or something?
Oh man.
It's like
the pop?
No, it's Ion. No, not Ion.
Not Ion.
Axis. It's on Axis.
Yes, Axis, yeah.
It's on Axis on Friday night. Yeah, Axis on Friday nights. I think it's 7 or 8. No, New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh.
That's worth watching. Impact Wrestling.
What, TNA?
No. Impact's on. You
They had
know.
6 sides on that ring, I heard.
And whatever. And NXT is one of the best stuff on wrestling to watch on TV. And if you have to get it by getting the network for $9.99. And you know I had to do that because we have to plug it every show for some reason. I don't know why we do, but we just do.
It pisses us all off, and we still say it.
Yes, and you know NXT is great, and if that is true and that is Triple H's baby, then I will give you my applaud because NXT is fantastic. And you know, so Alex, some thoughts on NXT?
Well, NXT is probably the best thing to come out of wrestling since Attitude Era, without a doubt. If this is indeed Triple H's baby, he needs to start bringing some of these people up, especially guys like Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, Hideo Itami, I think that's the name.
Sounds right. Yeah, I think this is.
Why isn't he bringing these guys up? Is he afraid to bring them up too early? But Raw, I'm not going to talk about SmackDown because that's non-existent in my mind. But Raw right now is at a state of beyond decay right now where they need fresh faces. They need to do something. I think I talked about this in a previous video. They need to do an invasion arc with the NXT. Put a group of like 5 or 6 top guys and just have them completely mow down everyone in the company. Well,
Maybe not.
not Ziggler, not Rollins, not Ambrose. Reigns you can beat the living hell out of. I don't care. But it's time to bring these guys up. I don't know why Triple H is so hesitant on it. If it has something to do with Vince being like, no, I think that has something to do with it. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Going what you said, you're talking about bringing 5 of their best guys up. Now, what are they going to be left with if you do that?
I think that's the reason why. That's a
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just
Mojo
trying to
Valley.
make some kind of opinion here that if you bring up, you know, Owens,
Alex
all
Riley's
these
not doing
guys,
anything right now.
Yeah.
That'd be great
Zack
too.
Ryder.
If you get like 5 dudes from out of nowhere, like you know.
Is
got
that
his shirt.
But I feel like that's.
bad?
I feel like, you know, if they brought those guys up, I don't think NXT would have anything. But I do agree. What did you say? Maybe. Damn it, I forgot now. Never mind. I think NXT should replace SmackDown. Straight up. I'd rather.
Yeah.
Put it so off the network onto the big TV.
On the BT, I think you make so much more money if you
I think
will
that's
watch.
Yes.
cool.
I really do. I'm sorry, but you tried with SmackDown recently, and it's not working at all. And
Oh, we're
you thought-
changing days and doing that. No,
Exactly.
It's got nothing to do with
And-
changing.
Same crap.
If you put NXT on and just put SmackDown onto like a main event show like you did on, you know, the network, I think NXT would just boost, just take off.
Yep.
It would just take off and destroy ratings.
That was free of charge,
So,
guys.
I like the idea Vince is watching of shortening Raw back to 2 hours and putting that NXT
Yes.
Triple H
1 hour.
agrees with that even,
Oh.
right?
Yeah, that's what
Triple
he said
H
on the
wants
podcast.
it.
You're letting fans get introduced to a new wave of product of wrestling. It's not NXT, for anybody who hasn't seen it, is not necessarily sports entertainment.
It's
It's
wrestling.
pro wrestling. It reminds me of when I was a kid. The matches are not 2 to 3 minutes. They emphasize why I should care about the specific wrestler that is being mentioned on television. When the matches are going on, they speak of the matches. The matches go 10 to 15 minutes. The titles mean something to me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The titles on television really haven't meant much. Lesnar's to me does. I'm pro Lesnar with title, another story. But the NXT Championship means something to me, and I think it's Bo Dallas, Rollins, Big E,
Did not say Bo Dallas.
Neville, and Sami Zayn have been the champions. There's been 5 NXT champions so far, and 4 on the main roster, or 3 on the main roster, and it works, man. It totally works. It's good. I care. And one thing I think it's really important, man, is it's a 1-hour show.
Yeah,
only 1 hour.
Yeah, it's 1
They're
hour.
not shoving, 5 hours of television.
Want that more.
They're not shoving
They
a
don't-
bunny. They're not
yeah.
shoving Hornswoggle or a little
Well,
bull.
it's not even that. It makes you want more.
Yeah,
It makes you
yeah.
like dying
big
for
time.
next
Good
week. You know what I
point,
mean?
yeah.
It's making you die for next week.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
The Raw,
Yeah.
like I'll watch that the next day on YouTube or on Hulu or whatever. or
Exactly.
DVR. With
Exactly.
NXT, man, I'm watching it live.
Yeah.
Right there, and then I can't wait for Wednesdays. special,
Exactly,
man.
that's what I mean. It makes
Great
you,
guys. Neville's great. Zayn's great.
3 hours,
Um,
you get bored. You almost want to fast forward
yeah.
to the last hour.
And
or
a lot of
I haven't
personal.
even watched the last
Divas
2
means
weeks.
something too,
Right.
and they call it the
Yeah.
women's title, not the Divas
That's
Championship.
awesome.
Yeah.
NXT
That's awesome.
Women's Championship.
The
And Charlotte's
Divas
great,
title.
by the way.
Last woman champion, I would say Mickey James was.
Mm.
That was it.
It might have been Trish.
I was
Don't
there
matter,
live for
either
the
one of
them are
better than
unification match.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was live.
Oh, Paige is
Sold out
good.
10 champion sales in 10.
sweet.
Young.
All right, NXT. That was pretty good.
Love it.
So, do people think that he's trying to become Vince McMahon, or Vince? Sorry, I said that wrong. Is Triple H trying to become McMahon, or is he trying to branch out of the shadow and become himself? In the authority figure of taking over the company.
I think he's trying to branch out himself, but by giving Vince different ideas on how he feels can make the company better and get it out of the state that it's in right now. But Vince is shutting him down on a lot of his ideas. I think that's kind of hesitating Triple H to come out of his own web. Lost my train of thought.
Come out of his own shell.
Yes, come out of his own shell. That's what I'm looking for. And I just think Vince is poo-pooing a little bit too much on some of these ideas. Whether or not these ideas are good or not, time's going to tell once Vince moves on. Whether he retires or life gets taken from him.
I think he's gonna.
There's no way he'll retire.
Yeah, he's not retiring. Vince loves it too much. I think he's gonna be an 80, 90, whatever until he lives to, and have the keys to Titan Tower just freaking gripped, and then Triple H is gonna have to rip them out of him and take them, and you're gonna hear and hopefully then it changes.
Well, I can't blame Vince when you got John Cena pleasing you behind the scenes. He's gonna not want to leave.
There we go.
He's pleasing him all right.
That's what he means.
John washes his car every week, his limo. Washes that private jet, whatever he's doing.
Ryan.
Yeah, sitting there with my mother. Have not watched wrestling in about 10 years. Sitting there watching Raw with her, and Triple H comes out, and he goes, "Who the hell does this guy think he is, thinking he could be Vince McMahon?" And right there, that's when I knew this guy was like, oh wow, even somebody that we used to watch old wrestling, like this guy she's thinking that he's trying to be the Vince McMahon. Feel like it is, and it just doesn't cut it anymore. Like I said, I'm just tired of seeing it. Maybe if I saw Stephanie out there only talking, because Stephanie's, Mike said it earlier, she's killing it on the mic. You know what I mean? She's so good. And it's like, maybe you should just let her run with it. You know what I mean? Just for a little bit. You know what I mean? Let her run with it by herself. See what happens.
Am I the only one out of the 4 of us that wants to see Triple H wrestle still?
Oh, God. I want him to have like a really good more like big time run. Big time heel champion run. And now I'm in charge.
I want no
my
more
company.
suits.
But the heel, like straight winning cleanly heel, right? Not having to use the sledgehammer every time.
I'm cool with by any means. If he's
Triple H as a heel is great.
What if he was a leader of the authority and champion?
Oh.
Have we ever seen a dynamic where the champion has power like that?
Well,
they
seen
did it before with the McMahon-Helmsley era.
Yeah, like we've seen like The Rock have a lot of power as the corporate champion, but
calls the shots.
Yeah, but never no, not really. I mean, you were pretty done, right? I didn't cut you off on anything, right?
Oh no, I really do think he's right. I'd rather see him in the ring wrestling instead on the mic with a suit on. That's just my opinion about that.
One thing I'll add on the Vince thing, man, you guys said a lot of great stuff here, man. With the Vince thing, behind the scenes, I love the fact that the company will someday be taken over by a former wrestler.
Yeah.
It's not going to be run by some suit that works in the office that has no clue. It's not going to be run by a Bischoff-esque guy that was kind of a fan and got into it. Like, Triple H is taking bumps. And I think that's a huge start. You know, like when WCW was really good before Bischoff, Dusty Rhodes was running the show. You know, Kevin Sullivan was a great booker. I think Nash ran the book good, man, when he was there. Bischoff had one idea and ran it. So,
and it was great for a while,
yeah,
but then it
worked out
cool,
great.
Yeah, the cool thing about Vince and WWE is that he has the final say, period. No matter what we see on TV, it always runs through him. So they can't enforce him or change anything. It's whatever he says goes, man. And I like the future of it being one of the boys. And as far as an on-screen character, I don't know if there's one guy. Dan O'Brien isn't Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Roman Reigns isn't Stone Cold Steve Austin. So as far as being the Triple H, as being the Vince McMahon character on TV per se, you know, I don't see anybody being that dynamic right now today in February 2015 of why do you think Vince was so great as a heel? Because he had Stone Cold to work with. And why do you think Stone Cold was so great as a babyface? Because he kicked his boss's ass. We've seen it. It's been over and done with. It's just like a Big Show heel turn. We've seen it. You know, I don't know if you can do it again with that storyline. How many times is that angle going to be replayed?
You think if Punk would have stayed, and them two would have had a great
perfect
kicking
Yes.
boss?
If it wasn't
you know what I
Sting
mean?
at Survivor Series, the only other person it could have been was Punk.
And then just have Punk just completely
Yeah,
embarrassing
and
Triple H.
It's,
That would have been great.
it's crazy with that situation too, is that I think Punk would have blew the roof off the place 10
Oh.
times more than Sting.
Yeah.
and Sting's was
And
loud.
Sting was debut,
Yeah.
and Punk would have made that place. It would have been a riot.
Even if you walked out of the crowd.
That was that Money in the Bank Live, man. That was a riot there. This
Oh, yeah.
Survivor Series would have.
You see all
10
those
times
videos
topped it.
on YouTube and
It
all
was
them
nothing
people
like it.
outside that
Nothing
place. Yeah.
like it, dude.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All right, which will kind of lead into this question: does he have any influence over Vince, and does he try to change his mind of the bad choices?
I would say only on NXT. I feel like NXT, I think Vince is like, that's your baby. You do what you can with that. I think that's Triple H's baby, and I think Vince is like, okay, you can have that, but Raw is mine still. You better go through me if you have an idea. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I'm going to say.
Kind of what I feel about that.
Yeah, about the same way. I mean, it kind of goes back to what I stated about the last time with him trying to be Vince or be himself. You know, I think Triple H is trying to, as much as I don't like Triple H as the suit guy, I think he's trying to change Vince's mind, but it's just to no avail, and it's just kind of breaking down his confidence. So he's doing his own thing in NXT right now to try to build himself up to eventually become the main guy, the new Vince, per se.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, like I said before, man, Vince runs the show, and I like what you guys had to say there. I really can't add much more to it, man.
It just looks like it. That's Triple H's baby, and Vince is going to let him have that till Vince is done.
Yeah.
Cool with me.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I agree.
I'll take NXT 1 hour than the 5 hours they put on paid television.
I'll have 3 hours of my Monday nights free.
We'll switch gears a touch here, and greatest feuds that Triple H has been in. Kind of more back to the career. Take a little break of the political guy. Greatest feuds. We have, Foley. We have the HBK, Randy Orton, The Undertaker, Batista feud. Which one, Ryan, would be your favorite out of those?
Foley. Those guys had some extreme matches, man. That Royal Rumble match. Oh my God. That was I would probably say that's one of my top 10 favorite matches ever.
Yeah.
Because them two look like they knew exactly what they both wanted out of those feuds. You know what I mean? Even when a year went past and they went back to it, that was just awesome. Taker, I felt like it was a little later on. Orton and him was cool. It was more like the father-son kind of thing, I felt like. You know what I mean?
Orton kissed Stephanie after he RKO'd.
Yes.
That was... Oh, yeah, the punt and all that?
He
Yeah.
kissed her when she was out cold and Triple H was handcuffed to the corner.
That was cool. Triple H going to his house, throwing him
Oh,
through the window.
yeah.
Through the window, through the
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell it shattered right before.
You don't have The Rock on there. The
Oh,
Rock
yeah.
and Triple
I was
H
just
had a
thinking
good feud. Them two were
Before
great
they were
too.
huge.
You know
Before
what?
they were huge.
Yeah,
the IC championships.
Yeah.
Matches? Oh man.
For mine, I think I wasn't thinking about that. I think my favorite would be The Rock's.
Totally forgot.
And with that
No,
feud, because
I
it was
hope
before,
y'all
yeah,
love
because
it.
you're right, because it was before that they were both big, so it kind of meant a little bit more. But I mean, but as a couple matches though, just out of taking some things out of his career, both those WrestleMania matches for the Taker, those both were amazing. I thought they both were good works. They both got fined for doing things that they shouldn't have in that era, and they took it, and I thought both those matches were amazing.
Like, you're gonna tell Triple H and Taker not to do something. Like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, get out of here.
As I don't really have much to add on it other than Orton, I would have to go with for myself just because I was probably more into that. Anytime you bring like a outside like family story into the feud, I think it's a great idea. I mean, like we said with the whole thing with Orton going to Triple H's house or whatnot, or Triple H going to Orton's house, my bad. With the whole sledgehammer going through the window, all that made for good TV and it made for good drama within a wrestling storyline.
Yeah, it almost made it more of an angle than a shoot or a storyline, you know?
So the whole thing with going after Vince and then going after Stephanie, that it was awesome.
With the Foley feud, I think it cemented Triple H as a main event player and cemented Mick Foley as a Hall of Fame player. That feud.
Yeah. Yep.
And with The Rock, it made the Intercontinental belt mean something for at that time period. And it's like we never got to see them major megastars feud. It was so before everything got really huge with The Rock. I mean, neither one of them had the belt yet. They were the Intercontinental belt they were going over. Orton was great. Like I mentioned, the kissing Stephanie was like really good TV. Batista for sure. Helped elevate Batista, put him on the map. And I mean, Shawn Michaels, man, probably my favorite Triple H match ever is SummerSlam 2003 when Shawn Michaels came out of retirement and fought Triple H in his match back. And it was just, Shawn Michaels was, I mean, biased, HBK biased, but
it's alright. It's your personal favorite.
And the other one would be a really small feud was when he worked with CM Punk after the pipe bomb incident that summer. When he worked with Punk at Night of Champions, where Punk should have totally 100% beat him and did not. Triple H came out of retirement, squashed him, Stephanie or not, and then went back into retirement. But that match was phenomenal also.
Yeah, minus the outcome.
Minus the
which happens a lot in wrestling, but that's a fandom thing though. That's just that's a personal fandom opinion. What'd you write down, Ryan?
Oh, that's my final thoughts. But...
Oh, okay. Well,
sorry.
we hit all our questions. I guess, do we have any more that came to us while we were talking that we want to speak on?
No, I really do think when I was talking, I was thinking, man, Punk and Triple H would be like the new Triple H or new Vince and Stone Cold. Punk coming out there.
What would be ideal, awesome with that would be you have Punk just completely go over Triple H, and you have Austin come out and be like, well, you think you're so tough for beating the boss. You weren't around beating Vince up when I was back in the day. Let's see who's the better boss killer here. And they could have ended up going to that fight.
I think that's the only match that can put 100,000 fans in WrestleMania 32 is Punk Austin.
Yes.
I think Punk coming back to WWE, which I really believe he's not ever going to do that.
I'm there too.
I mean,
I don't
never
think
say
so.
never in this business, man.
Well, look at Bret Hart. He got screwed on live TV. He came back. He came back.
Yeah, but he never wrestled. He just came back because
Sure he did. He did for the U.S.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. He's U.S.
No,
champion.
that should be your favorite highlight the whole time. No,
Miz carried him.
Yeah.
Actually,
But
the sad part is he kind of did.
He came back though. Bruno Sammartino. He said he'd never come back and do the
Warrior.
Hall of Fame.
Warrior.
Macho. Well, he never
well,
came back,
but he would want to. He would come back.
Yeah.
But
Macho.
I do think it's going to take time.
But I mean, he's doing his UFC, and we're getting off track. This is a Triple H video, not a Punk discussion, which we can talk hours on Punk. So, the podcast. We didn't discuss the podcast.
Yes.
Just recently, Austin had on Austin's
good stuff to
podcast.
say.
Triple H, was asked a bunch of questions, and let's get some thoughts on the podcast in general. If you didn't watch it, go find Austin's podcast or go to the WWE Network. I'm sure it's on that because it was
$9.99
on their network.
It's also on podcast1.com if you don't have the network.
There you go, Podcast One. I thought originally after I got done listening to it and reading, then I read bullet points on it too to refresh my memory on things, and I really believe that he did a good job saying what he needed to say as the corporate Triple H. I think he did. I think he did
Right.
dive into some truth and some stuff where he could. I think the Punk stuff he was completely corporate and smirk about and wasn't honest. I think he was honest about the China stuff. I think, I think with I think he kind of took the shot at McMahon a little bit about what on Raw is his crap and on NXT is
It's
my
quite
greatness.
a few shots at Vince.
I don't know if that was supposed to
subconsciously.
happen or if it came out wrong or I took it wrong or if maybe they're just trying to do some kind of drama to play off in the future because you never know with these podcasts. I know Austin is going to come out there and give you questions because he's not part of WWE anymore. He's doing it for his show. But I do think it was still semi-scripted. And I do think that they went over with it like a day or two before, so Triple H kind of knew what was going on. So we can. I just think that it's still a WWE product on the network.
Yeah.
If it was been an Austin podcast, not thrown on the network, I would be more inclined to thinking that it was more legit. I still think that they wanted it. They had some tough questions to answer with the Reigns stuff, and with still the CM Punk crap that still lingers. And I think that it was done well as person in power. I think he was truthful when he felt like he really needed to be, but on some subjects he gave half truths and talked around it. That's just what I think.
Alright, my opinions on this, I mean, there was quite a few things where he beat around the bush on a lot. He like sidestepped quite a few questions with some of the things he said. One thing that really irritated me, he talked about when he was supposed to start getting his big push in 96, 97, he stated, and then they took it away from him because he knew that he wasn't ready looking back on it. He goes on to talk about WWE fans stating how Reigns isn't ready. I mean, for someone who went through that, not being ready to be the main guy, you think he would recognize that with Reigns, because let's face it, Reigns is definitely nowhere near ready to main event WrestleMania.
Not ready.
Not ready 100%. And then, you know, he talks about doing best for biz, doing best for the fans. There were so many fans that were so outraged by what happened with Reigns and going through social media and just hearing word of mouth. He kind of, I don't want to say shit on the fans per se. Oh, there goes the PG thing.
This guy.
Oh, he didn't crap on the fans, but he kind of disrespected them in a certain way.
Our intelligence, you think?
Yeah, yes, exactly. He kind of lowered our intelligence a bit, and I just didn't like that. I mean, the stuff he was talking about with Punk as well. I thought he beat around the bush with a lot of questions that were asked about Punk. I think he's corporate-wise answering like what you said. I think he kind of wasn't 100% honest on what he said, stating things about how Punk wasn't very communicative. He wasn't good at communicating. Let's go with that. I can't talk today. And I just think that was kind of BS on his part. You know, Triple H said that he never had a beef with Punk. I think he did have a beef with Punk going into way back. I think he saw an outsider, someone who speak off the top of his head and not afraid to lash out. And I think Triple H found that being disrespectful. And I think Triple H held a personal grudge with that. But he's not going to come out and say that.
I mean, he should, but he's not
he
going
should.
to.
He's not going to.
And maybe he just didn't because of his position. You know?
And all in all, that podcast, he just seemed very non-truthful about it. He just sidestepped almost every question, in my opinion. I mean, I just watched it this morning so I could refresh my mind with it, and I found myself shaking my head on a lot of things he said. I mean, I kind of forgot a couple of things he said, otherwise I'd talk about it, but yeah. Next.
Yeah, man. I'm a Mark man, so I watched it live on the network, man. I watched it right there. I was like, got the popcorn ready. You know, I was waiting for this thing to come on, and totally 100% agree with you, man. What you guys said. This was pre-planned out. His answers. His answers were so corporate and not what I was expecting. Because if anybody here listens to Stone Cold's podcast, I listen to him very regularly, and Stone Cold asks the hard questions, man. He really hits him hard with what he wants to talk about. It seems like he was kind of, he wanted more answers from the corporate side of things than he did with the actual wrestling, per se, questions that I thought was going to be asked. I do like the fact that he completely and openly answered truthfully about China.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
really cool, man, because when the name was brought up originally, I was like, he's brushing it out. But he makes a good point that we've discussed before, also in the Benoit video that you've already probably seen. But with the fact that the Hall of Fame isn't just about how good you are on TV, it's about how good you are on the outside of the ring. And for him to give that answer, totally true, because if I go home and Google China, I know what the first thing's going to pop up.
Yep.
So for him to give that answer straightforward was great. The one big thing I don't like about it was the way that he handled the whole Punk situation, man.
Oh, my phone's freaking out.
I am a Chicago sports fan and wrestling fan through and through.
Right.
And no matter where you are in this country, you guys don't stand a
Twitter.
test against Chicago
IMDb.
wrestling fans, man.
I put Philly up there though too. I'm just saying. I'm not a Philly.
I'll agree with you.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's fans.
In New York City,
Yeah.
you know, Chicago, we're
See, it's all
right
wrestling
there,
stuff
top
that
three.
pops
I'll
up.
say.
Images.
So,
They're looking up China.
yeah, I
just so
know.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Let's see what comes up
I'm
first.
a hardcore Punk fan, not only for his in-ring work, his mic work, but also the local factor. He's our guy, and I believe Punk over many people in this business because of the way that he is.
He's never really ever lied to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
Like,
for him to say, I have bad blood with this guy, he's never liked me, and I resent him for not putting me over 4 years ago when he should have, that would have been best for business. And then Triple H to say, oh, you know, everything's cool, and everybody comes back and he's welcome there. I don't believe it, man.
Yeah.
I don't believe it for a second.
I just stated a little bit ago, I don't think he's coming back. You guys are 100% right. Don't say never in the business. I do agree with that. I just
I
personally
think that's the inner child.
I just personally don't think he's coming back. At least not in the aspect of anytime soon, where we're going to want to see him back. If he does, he's going to do a Bret Hart thing when he can't do anything in the ring other than speak.
Yeah.
And I want the ring work because that's what I want.
Now, going back to what he said, you know, he's like, you know, outside world.
All wrestling
He's-
stuff that
he's
came
got-
up, actually.
She's got the whole thing she's doing
Right.
and all this. Now, you're right, though. It's about what you do outside the ring. Now, that means that Sable and some other people can't get in because they pose for Playboy, too, then. So are they going to get in? Are they going to be able to get in?
Okay, I have a final thought for that one.
What about Xbox? You know, in China doing that video.
That's what I mean. Is that Pac ever going
But
to
he's
get
his
in?
best.
either?
They're buddies.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're gonna get snugged in. That's why I was like, when he said that about China, it's what, you know, that you got your own personal life, know what you do. Like Sable was naked, you know, China was naked.
There's a lot of divas that have been there. There's a lot. We don't need
Tori.
Did Trish do it?
Wish.
I don't know.
Wish.
Marina Killis.
Canellis.
Canal, sorry.
Yeah, I would
Michael
know.
Bennett. I know you just married her not long ago.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
That's an interesting match.
What? What match?
anyway,
I said that's an interesting match.
Oh, match. I thought.
Not wrestling match. Their match.
20 years from now, China will be in.
We'll see. So podcast. Have we
Yeah.
nailed that one?
Yeah, that was good.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll.
This video's been pretty long. It's gonna be another two-parter.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up a little bit and say my final thoughts for Triple H, not for our show, but for Triple H. I hope you don't become McMahon. I hope that your vision for NXT eventually translates into Raw and the main roster being that, because that's what's best for business.
My final thoughts, real quick. I'm gonna stay on the Triple H subject here. I think WWE would be in a lot better state if Vince let go of the reins and Stephanie stepped up and took over. I think Stephanie has the best, not the greatest wrestling mind. I'm just saying she has the best wrestling mind of the three. I think, but we're probably never gonna find that out. So.
My final thoughts is, I was writing it down. Triple H, I do like Triple H, I really do, because he has stuff that reminds me of the old school wrestlers, and he said it before, he tapes his fingers, because the old guys used to do it. You know, he's got the sledgehammer. He started using the sledgehammer right after Mick Foley, because Mick Foley used the cardboard with the 2x4 with the barbed wire. He does old school wrestling moves, the Killer Kowalski moves. That's what he was learned. That's what I like about Triple H. The guys, like he said, one of the guys, like Jake said, one of the guys, he knows what it is to take to be in a ring. I just don't think the authority thing is good for him. I feel like he should be maybe a booker, a story writer, but not the authority. But yeah, that's my final thought.
cool, man. I just think the greatest thing that I think he's given this business to help elevate talents. The New Age Outlaws, China, Sable. I mean, heck, he put on good matches with Mark Marrow. Orton. I mean, Evolution speaks. Oh, just come on, man. Evolution.
Yeah.
You know, handpicked him. And many people don't know that Mark Jindrak was supposed to be there instead of Orton.
Yeah, I do remember him.
And
I
so
didn't believe it.
he elevates talent. He's a true student of the game, no pun intended. His character is awesome. His entrance music sets the tone for what he's about to bring to the ring. He's a little stale. As far as the future goes, real quick, I'm completely happy with him being in charge. I'm totally for it, 100%. And I think the company will be in good hands with him there.
Are you? Are you for him being in charge?
Yeah, I would have to say so, because, I mean, who else is going to do it?
Ooh, good point.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, who else is going to do it right now? I mean,
Well.
Shane McMahon can come back.
There's 4 guys here, you
call
know,
him.
thinking about a...
Well, let me call Vince up, see who's going to be the guy after Triple H.
We need it.
Well, I didn't want to put you on the spot on that. I just wanted you on a spin.
No, I mean, Triple H is the only guy that can do it right now, I think. Is it the greatest? No. But,
If he gives them the whole range, though, the whole...
yeah.
Range, you know, I mean, if Vince McMahon said you can have it, do what you got to do to make the range.
I want to see it. I just have this bad feeling that it's just all going to just fall apart. I don't know why. I just got this strange feeling about it.
All right. That was our final thoughts to close the Triple H segment. We have final thoughts on wrestling in general. Anything we want to say? Anything we want to speak about?
I got one thing. I kind of want to do what they did at the end of the podcast. Bring up a wrestler's name. I want you guys to kind of quick idea about him. Do 2 guys. Dean Ambrose.
Awesome.
That was awesome.
Awesome!
All right, you're
He
gone.
can go away.
You can go out the window.
Pillman / Austin.
Piper.
I throw Piper in the mix.
Best in the mic.
Ho!
That's my favorite.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Awesome, though. Very cool.
Let's see who can go. Let's go with someone from NXT. Let's go with Finn Balor.
Best entrance I've ever seen.
That was very good. Word association. Looking forward to seeing him in the main roster. Now, I know that's not one word, but you know whatever.
Just like a sentence.
Right.
Future world champ.
Ooh. Bold.
Probably.
Calling it right now.
Probably, as long as he doesn't poop on Vince's desk.
Yeah.
Doesn't pull
He's
his
Irish,
Cesaro.
So you got 2? You got more?
No, I just want to hear from you guys.
You got any more names?
Nope. Just do 2. Final
All right,
thought.
I got my final thought was on Sable. Do you think she's worthy of the Hall of Fame?
No.
No, I was
No.
just thinking with the whole...
I do.
Yeah, just like examples wise.
Well, yeah, maybe. Just, I don't
Sure.
know.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
Why?
I think
Why?
I
Oh,
think
no.
not only Sunny did it first, but she transcended the
Interrogation,
entire attitude era, the way we look at women. She was the way that you looked at them. They weren't wrestlers at the time; they were eye candy, and she was the best at the time.
And Prince.
She did what she was.
Yeah.
She did what she was paid to do,
Yeah.
and did it very well.
Lesnar's got her now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Knocked her out.
Good boy.
Good boy.
Okay, all right. Final thought. Which one? You two?
One thing I just want to mention, man, is that I'm so pro Brock Lesnar holding the title. I think it's really cool that he is the part-time champion. I can stand
No.
to see him just a little bit more.
Oh.
But as far as leaving, the way that he is brought back to television every time, he's brought back to kick ass.
Yeah.
He is the most believable guy that I've seen in this company in years. And I think that he should, if he resigns, keep the belt and keep running with it. I don't think anybody should pin him for a very long time.
Believable enough to have been the one to beat the streak.
If he keeps winning, he is.
I would say that.
If he drops
kept the
it
belt
1
for a
year
while,
after he did it,
yeah.
then it meant nothing.
The Reigns is going to end up beating
It
him.
meant nothing.
I hope that doesn't
I don't
happen.
think that's gonna happen. I really do think. I really do think Brock Lesnar beats anybody at WrestleMania.
I
hope so.
hope, but I just...
I think Lesnar holds the belt at
Love to see
WrestleMania.
Daniel Bryan beat him. What a story.
Well, I mean, yeah, that would be the greatest thing to happen nowadays if that happened.
It would,
I
but
don't
it's
think
going to
so.
be exactly what we saw last year. Again, that's the only problem I have
Yeah,
with it.
you're right. Unless Heyman turns on him.
Final thought. Give me 2 belts. Not give me 2 belts. Have IC be important again. having Intercontinental belt be very important.
Which I think Sandow should get a big push and kind of bring that up a little bit.
They should just have somebody.
Sandow would be awesome.
Just like how
It's like Ambrose going to go
Jake
for
said it earlier. Yeah,
That's good.
Just
He'll
have
be good with
somebody
it.
Hold it for a while, and then when the time's right, let him drop it, and that's when he gets
Like
the
a
world
year,
title.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So that's how it used to be.
Just let him run, man. Honky Tonk Man had it for that.
Oh God! Don't bring up that.
Horrible.
Oh
I mean, he had the title for a long time. He is the longest reigning Intercontinental champion of all
And that
time.
needs to change.
Give me anybody out here.
Why
Anybody, it
not?
don't
Why
matter.
not someone have it changed? And then think of the storyline going up to it, man. The angle. Oh man, he's so close.
Yeah. And I think Ambrose should be that guy to do it then.
Yeah, Ambrose is good with it.
All right. As always, guys, down there.
Facebook and Twitter, like those, follow those. Favorite this video, like this video, hit that thumbs up right here. Not that. That'd be bad. I will stunner your ass if you do that. Make sure you do that instead.
Out of nowhere.
But yeah, comment down below as well, giving us your thoughts on Triple H and some of the other things we talked about, like NXT. Let's hear your thoughts with NXT. Go ahead and hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. We said links down there. Go ahead to subscribe to us on YouTube, as always. Steiner, you got something for us?
If you don't like us, bite us.
SCS signing out. Alex, Ryan, Mike with Jake here today. Hopefully I have him back soon. As always, YouTube, see you guys later.
You played at Immortals at all? It's actually pretty entertaining.
Is it?
It's like the
It looks pretty
Mortal
stupid.
Kombat meets WWE.
I mean, John Cena's a superhero. Do I need to say more?
Yeah, but it's funny because I got Daniel
Hey, I'm
Bryan.
recording. We could put that on the blooper.
You should give me that phone thing. I'm gonna fuck with Mike the whole time, piss him off.
The foam finger?
Yeah, just sit there and take one.
All right, I'm the P. We'll start.
Okay.
Mike's got a pee. That's gone on the blooper reel. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we at the SCS proudly present to you the next best YouTube show in the world.
The SCS.
You fucked it up.
Who, me?
Yeah, I had to bring in the names before you said that.
Oh, fuck. Well, then just redo it.
God damn it, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, you paused, so I thought we
Shit.
were waiting.
How long until Vince brings that as a kid?
Yeah,
okay?
right.
Bring in one of those things.
You
on
paused, so
on
I
a
thought
set
you
of
were...
film sets. You know? You see
Okay.
when Rollins messed up on Raw when he's like live TV, right?
Yeah, right.
Do you want to just go rewind all this?
I do like that. That was
Rewind it, just watch it back again.
rewind it,
There's a show.
and then pause it, and then
Longest blooper reel ever. Oh my god.
like 12 minutes long.
Alright.